So AgGe has been absolutely dominating this league. He's one of the better players in terms of record. I think he's won all of the matches he's been put up against.
For B team, yes.
Yep, so very strong player. Medyas has also been doing very well. I think he's lost 2. He's won 6. No, he's won 4. 4-2 in his matches.
Also very impressive.
Yeah, very
should
solid.
be a good match then. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that.
I am excited. And Matchpoint TVZ has a lot of options. You know, it's the kind of thing where, similar to Taucross, there's not an easy third gas for Zerg, but there are options for sort of unconventional thirds. The 12 and the 6 have pretty tight chokes and they have a gas, and then the double ramped corner maps, corner bases you can certainly take with just a few lurkers. So there are options to play the standard map play, but you know, we can see a lot of things here. So spawning here in the bottom left, we have iRk-AgGe for Team CWA as the red Zerg.
And then here in the top right, we have our yellow Terran from Team Beast, who's currently up a game, Medyas.
Oh, speaking of which, let me update the score.
So yeah, to go on what you're saying, like TVZ on this map, definitely interesting matchup. I think one of my favorite games, a pretty hyped game played earlier on in the season between Dark Matter and Hot Dog Water on this map was really a lot of fun. Epic match. If you haven't checked that out,
I absolutely remember that game. Yep.
Yeah.
Check it out on the YouTube.
I would say go to the YouTube and check that out. It was a pretty intense TVZ 18 match. So, and I do know AgGe has like a little bit different style here. He usually likes to play a little unorthodox, you know, be kind of aggressive, do some draw play, or do something unexpected a lot as Zerg. And being a Zerg, I mean, you have those kind of options. Zerg's definitely really flexible in that regard. We'll have to see if he tries something standard or, you know, does his usual unorthodox mix-it-up play, and if Medyas can handle that.
Yeah, and you know, this is the grand finals. People have seen plenty of games from their opponent. There's a lot of research material out there on the YouTube. So Medyas has to know what's in the toolbox. He has to be prepared for some of that. So when you're in that situation, you might even want to play standard just to throw people off. But obviously, if you've got a style and you want to stick with it, and that's what you're strong at, that's what you should be doing. But we'll have to see. So far, nothing crazy. We've got that 12 hatch coming out from AgGe, Overlords floating across the map, and a drone scout as well. So he definitely wants to try to get that drone in, probably to scout for that gas timing if possible.
Yeah, just like we saw in the last game, last TVZ, we do have this drone scout going to look around, make sure there's nothing too aggressive or fishy coming on, or if there is, you'll be able to, you know, defend against it. Throwing down his pool now, so everything's still looking standard for AgGe. And meanwhile, Medyas is just getting out his first Marine, has got a couple of supply depots out, so.
Yeah, now this drone is actually sneaking around. I don't know if he's planning to do something really sneaky or he's just trying to avoid a Marine potentially, but that is hoping that Medyas forgets about that drone, it looks like. You know, it's possible to build a hatch here and do some shenanigans with the size of this base, but it's, you know, he ran right past the SCV, he ran right past the supply depot. Medyas saw that drone enter and he could very easily hunt that down.
And we are seeing the hatchery go down.
There it is.
So AgGe living up to his sneaky, unorthodox play here and doing an in-base hatch. Looks like Medyas does have a Marine looking around for it, so I think this is going to get scouted and going to have to be cancelled. Yes.
Yep, he's going to see that, and that is going to force a cancel, which, you know, that does hurt as a Zerg player. You know, you've saved up that 300 minerals, and now you're not going to get anything out of it. I think I'm hearing from Marco that he does this in practice, so he probably also knows how to transition out of this. I don't think that he's going to be too shocked that the Terran player found it. Going to go for the gas steal here, probably just to get health for that drone, but could be throwing the timing off of the Terran build just a little bit. We also have a few Zerglings headed towards the front. Yeah,
seeing this, the Terran's just opting to take the natural gas, which is fine. I mean, it is going to delay his gas a little bit, but it's nothing, you know, too bad. He can just take his natural gas a little bit earlier than he otherwise would have to make up for that. We may see a little bit of pressure here. If you could pick off that SCV building the command center, that'd be really nice.
Yeah, he's just gonna finish it. Delaying that would be nice. There are also 2 SCVs coming down, so it wouldn't have been a big delay. But getting on top of some of these Marines, there's only 2 Marines to deal with this, and they actually can't fight this number of Zerglings. So their buddies are going to come down to reinforce. But a couple of free hits going down, Marines not being controlled on attack move or using the SCVs really. So 2 Marines going down for essentially 4 Zerglings, 1 still alive. Actually looks like that might have killed those 2 SCVs that were hanging out. So really great value out from 4 Zerglings.
That one Zergling's a hero who's already got 3 kills, just hammering away at this gas here. So, I mean, it's delaying Medyas a little bit, nice little moves. Costing him some minerals and a little distracting him from what he would otherwise like to do, but he's certainly not going to die or anything from this.
Yeah, we actually have an interesting transition from AgGe too. The Spire is coming down from a 2-hatch build now. So rather than try to recoup any timings with that cancel 3rd hatch, he's just going to go right into 2 hatches, make sure that his gas timing is solid, and going to have pretty fast 6 mutas here, provided he has the money for it. And just looking at his drone count, he should be able to do that.
Yes, Medyas does have his engineering bay down already, so he will be able to get some turrets up if he's aware of this, but I don't think he knows this is coming yet. If he doesn't scout this in time and get his turrets in time, he could potentially take a lot of damage from these mutas. However, if he, suspects something is up, gets those turrets down, I don't think AgGe is going to be able to find damage that he's looking for.
Absolutely. A 2-hatch play really has to do some damage. You don't have that engine from 3 hatches worth of larva. And if the Terran player can defend adequately, then you are going to fall behind. That's kind of why it's fallen out of favor. You don't see a lot of Zergs going for this because Terrans have really mapped out how to deal with it. But I think at the B team level, anything is possible, and we're going to get to see some muta control here. Looks like the Spire is complete. I don't see 6 mutas on the way. Looks like a couple of resources being spent into minerals that are going to block AgGe from going for the full 6. But he will be starting a Mutaflock at a really quick timing compared to a 3-hatch build.
Yeah, there is an SCV coming down now. Depending on the rally, he may actually see these mutas pop or something. Okay, the SCV is going to go down before the mutas pop. He's going to see the 3 eggs. He has no idea what's coming out of those at this moment.
Yeah, but we do see the first turrets going down. So he suspects mutas, and he is going to have at least a few turrets there to deal with that. Looks like there's oh no, we have a bunch of SCVs on gas. It looks like he was trying to build an academy, or a Comstat station as well, and ended up lifting his main. So that's going to disrupt his mining a little bit. Just a little mistake there. That's gonna hurt him a bit.
He did notice those SCVs not mining gas and put them on now, although he's only got 2 mining from it at the moment.
Yeah, and he has no mining gas on the natural, even though that was his first refinery. So Medyas is going to be a little gas starved this game, and you can kind of see that he's got 3 medics. It looks like he's got his academy and engineering bay upgrading, but not enough gas banking to go for the factory after his 5 racks, and 3 of these racks are actually just standing idle. Muta's coming in now, and they are right on top of the barracks.
Yeah, there's nothing being produced from the barracks. He does have a few turrets here ready in time, but we'll have to see how the control is. If he can keep picking off some Marines and pick off some other things, he could start snowballing this and get himself into a better position here.
Yeah, he's going very aggressive on that. I mean, that's a nice position to take control over, because if you kill all the Marines and medics, you can just win the game there. But he was just kind of flying in between the 2 missile turrets that were decently well placed, taking a ton of damage. Gonna try to see if he can get anything done at the natural here. There is a lot of dead space that you can really abuse, but the turret placement is pretty good, covering this entire bottom half with 2 turrets. So far the mutas have definitely not done what they need to do for a 2-hatch build.
So if he can't find any more damage, I'm going to be liking Medyas' position here a little bit more. AgGe did throw down this Hydralisk den a little while ago, and we do see he's actually morphing a couple of lurkers, so he's going 2-hatch muta into 2-hatch lurker, it looks like.
Yeah, this is certainly a fine transition. Usually you want to go up to that full flock of mutas even on 2-hatch build. 6 mutas is a lot less scary than 11 mutas, just in terms of the amount of defenses and M&M that you can deal with. So by transitioning to lurkers this quickly, it's almost like a muta fake out. Like he's still forced the M&M to stay back. He's still forced some turrets. It's certainly a costly fake out, but he hasn't invested so heavily that everything else will be delayed. He should be able to get lurkers at that 6 o'clock base in time. Although Medyas seems to know about it, and he's making a beeline straight for it.
Yeah, I did see Scan go down on that base just before it completed, so he does know. And if AgGe isn't aware and able to defend this, Medyas is going to be able to break this position before AgGe's ready to really defend it. He's got one colony morphing here, but it's not going to be as sunken in time. And he's got nothing else to really defend this.
This is going to go down. The scouting was a bit lacking in terms of that move out. You know, I should have seen that coming and should have ran his first few lurkers to that location. But unfortunately, that base is now forfeit. And
oh, we got a lurker drop in the main.
Oh, is there a drop? There is a lurker drop. Nice catch there. So this is where AgGe's attention has been. And he is going to totally shut down mining here. A scan going down, but it's a little bit early. The Marines are not in position. So he actually used a second scan to make sure that there's time after the engagement.
Oh, no.
What a funnel, though. Oh my god, there's two lurkers. We're actually going to win the fight. 9 kills on this lurker. Last lurker, I couldn't get a catch on the kill count. But there are no scans available, I don't believe. And that lurker has now shut down mining and done a ton of damage.
So both players kind of trading blows here. I mean, Medyas took out that third base of AgGe, but AgGe's denying all the mining here in Medyas' main. Killed a decent number of M&M, got maybe a couple of SCVs here. Medyas is actually repairing that comm stat just to keep it alive so he can get another scan, because he actually doesn't have a scan available to even get to this lurker at the moment.
Yeah, if AgGe was paying attention, he would definitely want to target that SCV and try to kill that Comstat station for good, but he's not going to be able to here. I think Medyas is actually going to get the better of that trade. He didn't really lose any SCVs, he lost just Marines, it looked like. So his economy is doing fine, whereas by denying that third of a 2-hash Zerg player, it's going to cause real issues into the mid-game. AgGe's actually moving a ton of, there's just Zerglings out into the middle of the map. There's 2 more lurkers, probably going to prepare for a drop, and maybe a dual-pronged attack with a drop and an attack at the front could potentially pull Medyas a little thin.
Yeah, he also has a couple of lurkers here just sitting outside Medyas' natural here. Did get a few kills, a couple of medics, a couple of Marines. We got another lurker drop going down into the main here.
Ooh,
nice reaction from Medyas.
Yeah, really fast stim. Actually going to take no Marine kills that time. Speed is upgraded on the Overlords as well, so the drop play is not over. High investment into that drop tech. And I really like how Medyas has been handling this in general, but he really needs to clear out this back lurker. Just by denying mining for this long, it's getting its value.
Definitely. Like, I would have liked to see him kill that lurker a long time ago, whenever he could have. Even, I don't know if he can really turret push that, but
we have 2 lurkers at the front, just kind of taking pot shots at Marines. They just ran past. I don't think many of them actually took damage because they're taking such a perpendicular angle, but Medyas actually runs them back a second time, just for good measure, to make sure that they stay damaged.
What a crazy game. Oh, Medyas just scouted all these Mutas and Hydras just sitting up here with these Overlords. He's morphing them now, but Medyas is aware that, okay, there's probably going to be a drop coming in. Sending in these Mutas, picks off an SCV, sees the science facility finishing up.
Yeah, and science vessels are absolutely the answer here. I love how Medyas has been continuing to tech up under this pressure. Just finally getting control of that main mineral patch with his tank and some M&M, but he is almost going to have that vessel out, and that will put a real damper on the plans of this lurker heavy play. You just get free lurker kills and you have permanent detection. So I really want to see AgGe get some Scourge out here to try to snipe that, because this is pretty critical if you're doing such an aggressive Zerg play.
The Terrans actually started a second science facility. I don't know if he forgot he built it or what. Okay, he realized it now and canceled. He probably has a science vessel on the way. It looks like AgGe is gearing up for a pretty big attack here. It's going to be like frontal with drops and mutas.
Yeah, but this frontal attack is actually going to be really risky. There's a lot of M&M there. They're not being controlled, so he's getting a few good lurker spines. If those were stimmed and ran forward, all of those lurkers would be dead. But he actually gets on top of the bunker. There's no one in the bunker, and he may have just broken the front.
Yeah, Medyas is taking a lot of damage here. We got AgGe sending in like a group of Hydras here to help reinforce this position. It looks like catching a few units out here on the map. Continue to hammer away. This bunker is still alive, and there's only one lurker, low health lurker, hitting at it.
The bunker's alive, but there's no one in it. A siege tank coming down to assist, but it's getting really close and sieging up. Hydras are going to take that out immediately. And the pressure continues. The group of M&M that was kind of warding off the drops coming down to deal with this, finally getting into the bunker, but it just goes down.
Yes. Oh, wow. He's losing a lot of units here. AgGe still has a lot of units just kind of everywhere. I like Medyas has these units knowing that drop's still a possibility, kind of holding up. We do have the mutas going in. A bunch of lings now streaming across the map. I think this is looking bad for Medyas. Like, if he can hold on, he's going to be in a good position, but yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to. It's really tough.
Yeah, it's going to be a tense moment for sure. He's going to have to lift his command center here. He's actually got a really good position with an SCV block and a siege tank. A ton of M&M still left in the back. So he has stabilized for now, but there are units just threatening here with the drop too. He's got a handful of units to deal with that, but a lot of damage has been done, a lot of mining has stopped, SCVs have gone down. I think that he'll still be okay once he can get control of his natural again, but he really needs to make sure that these attacks can be quelled at some point.
Yeah, and AgGe's moving forward here with another few units kind of pressuring the front. I'd like to see him drop here kind of at the same time, force the units out front, and it looks like he is going to go for that drop now.
Yeah, I don't know how many were loaded up. The actual defense force here actually pulls back to the barracks, so they're not going to be able to snipe any of these overlords. Doesn't look like all of these are full though. There's a decent amount of lurkers though. I see 4 and a bunch of hydras. We really need to see that M&M force come back, and I like how he's just pulling Medyas' attention back and forth with the drop and frontal attacks.
He is finally getting his third base up behind this, but he's really got to, I mean, he's doing what he has to do and keep the pressure on the Terran. He can't let the Terran stabilize. If the Terran's allowed to stabilize, Zerg's economy's gonna be so far behind that he's gonna not be able to catch up.
Oh wow, we have a Muta attack coming in to snipe the tank at the front while all the units were pulled back to deal with the drop. And we look at the supplies, Medyas is still doing okay, but that does not how this game seems to be going. He's got a decent bank as well, just being stretched so thin trying to defend against all of these really aggressive attacks. But he is still okay, I think, just by virtue of how far behind AgGe has been by being this aggressive.
That was a lot of relentless pressure. It looked like Medyas was going to crumble there, but he actually, held on, and now AgGe all of a sudden doesn't have a lot of units on the map and a lot of drones, so I'm liking Medyas' position a little bit more here.
Yeah, he's finally stabilized from the multi-prong attack. We're getting a bunker up at the front again. Tank production has resumed, so the tanks are going to be in a good siege position. And the 5 Raxes, none of them went down. He still had full production, and that's a lot of M&M just hanging out in the middle of the base. As long as he can get defenses up here at the front as well and prevent him from losing his natural again, I think he's going to be looking really strong. I don't like how close that siege tank is sieging. That really should be a little farther back, but otherwise he's looking solid.
Yeah, one thing I would like to see Medyas is get another base. He is building a command center here in his main, but he's running pretty low. Like, he's got 100, 200 minerals on all the patches in his main, and 200, 300 and all his patches in his natural. So he has a little bit of money left, but it's not going to last forever. He needs to get another base set up at some point. Looks like he is going to try and do that now. He even has a dropship getting ready to move on the map, but AgGe should be aware of this and see it flying across.
Yeah, one critical thing, AgGe's just getting mining at his third. He's not mining the gas at all, so his economy has still not really recovered from this aggression. Oh, the dropship has been caught out. He's going to kill one lurker, but he's going to have to pull back, scared of some of those mutas and hydras. But I was going to mention that the Zerg tech is really far behind, not even a Queen's Nest here at 17 minutes. The Terran has weathered the storm, and he's going to have such a strong mid-game here that AgGe's going to have to be very careful.
Yeah, he actually has quite a bit of money banked up, so if he could spend that, if that was all M&M right now, he could just walk across the map and destroy the Zerg. AgGe's going to have to do something pretty crazy here to hold this as is. He does have lurkers on the ramp, which is a very good move.
Yeah, the lurkers are keeping this attack delay, but there's a siege tank and a science vessel, so they are going to have to pull back. And great awareness, just pulling back out of that siege range, making sure he holds onto this position as long as possible. We are now in the game where the Zerg has to buy as much time as possible for hive tech, but unfortunately for him, that is a long way away. I still see no Queen's Nest.
Yeah, that's true. He's got to just buy himself time, get his economy rolling, and get up to, like you said, that Queen's Nest hive tech. Looks like he's gearing up to take his mineral only as a 4th there. But we do have this drop sneaking past those Scourge at the top of the map.
I'd really like to see this force just go up there to secure that command center. It's kind of just out in the middle of nowhere right now, but that drop is going to be met with a couple of sunken colonies. I don't know how many medics are in there. I only see one. Maybe there's a second one here. So it can deal with this, but it needs to move pretty quick so we can get single sunken attacks rather than dealing with all 3 at once. Now moving his main force up to deal with the lurkers that are in between him and his command center, and there's not enough support units here. There's no Zerglings with this, so Terran's going to be able to win this fight no problem. That drop is still just hanging out, but defenses are growing in the upper left. There's even a lurker burrowed in the mid line. I don't think it's going to be enough to get anything done here.
Yeah, AgGe is aware too of this third CC Medyas is trying to take. Oh no. And this one Hydra's like killed half of it already. Hope he doesn't let that burn die. He does have an army here, he could go and save that and secure it. But he definitely needs that because he's out of mining in his main and natural here now.
Yeah, he's making moves to secure that location, and he certainly has the army for it. This Hydra's done an incredible amount of damage to that CC. Like, this needs to stop. He needs to get some SCVs over there to repair. I'm not sure why he's taking his sweet time. There's only one lurker here, and he should be able to see that with the Science Vessel. So if that CC goes down, that's going to be devastating.
Yeah, it's starting to burn, especially because Medyas is completely out of mining now. He's got like 100 minerals left. If that, he does have a little bit of a bank that he can survive off of. But losing the CC at this point is not going to be good. And it looks like that one Hydra is going to take down the CC.
Yeah, there's no SCV close enough to make this repaired, and there it goes. So there you go, Hero Hydralisk, absolutely changing the face of the game. Medyas has some bank, he's going to take his mineral only, but could have easily secured that 12 o'clock position by just moving this army a little bit farther, and that's a big win for AgGe to have that CC go down.
For sure. This is still anyone's game. Like it was looking bad there for AgGe, but he has secured his third, it didn't go down. Although I still don't see the Queen's Nest, so it looks like he's planning just to stay on this lair tech. Lurker, Hydra, length.
Yeah, I mean, lair tech is strong, but it does fall off. Once Terran gets fully upgraded and gets a lot of mech out, especially if Medyas plans for a mech switch, lair tech just can't compete. So he has to be very careful about that. If we look at the supplies, Medyas is actually getting a really, really strong supply lead here. He just needs to make sure his units are in the right places. I see a lot of spread out units throughout this channel on the map, and not a ton at his natural, where it looks like AgGe is planning a very big force for a frontal assault.
Yeah, this game has actually been pretty crazy and it's somewhat stabilizing. Medyas is looking to be in a good position, but it's certainly anyone's game still.
Yeah, here comes the attack. I really need to see a fast reaction from Medyas. That's a lot of units. He has the army to deal with this, but they need to get in the right position, and he needs to make sure he doesn't lose his command center in the process. It looks like it's mostly Hydralisks. There's only 2 lurkers with this, so he should be able to clean this up no problem as long as those spines aren't absolutely amazing.
And only one of the lurkers actually makes it up the ramp. The other one's kind of stuck in behind, doing nothing in the below the natural there. So he does clean that up pretty handily, and now he has almost a double supply of AgGe here.
Yeah, and I think AgGe really needed to pull that force back and attack the third, and he's doing so now, but it might be a little bit too late since it's totally cleaned up. Lurkers are going to get a decent position on top of the tank, but they're still a decent ways away from the SCVs, and this is giving Medyas some time to react. He needs to save these SCVs though. This is all of his... Oh my goodness, this is all of his economy!
This is the only mining he has, and now he's losing all these... No income coming. He does have the bigger army, but he doesn't have... Oh man, any mining going on at the moment. And
yeah,
that can feel bad.
This is an absolute slugfest. Medyas, yeah, he has no income. He's kept the CC, he manages to lift that in time. There's only 4 lurkers here remaining. These 2 science vessels have irradiated at least one. Another one coming here. And the science vessel cloud is actually getting pretty scary. So even though AgGe's been doing a great job keeping up the pressure, doing a ton of damage, Medyas has not gone down. He is still okay here. He's got enough SCVs to be mining off this one base. He really needs to secure a gas base, and he's actually building another command center here behind the minerals, probably expecting to expand to the bottom right. And if that happens, I think he'll just have way too much income at his disposal for AgGe to take this game.
Yeah, for sure. Medyas showing the true power of the defensive race known as Terran. Critically as well, AgGe still hasn't taken that 4th base, that mineral only. I would have liked to see him take it. He's had that drone there for a long time. I would have liked to see that up and running by this point. It looks like he finally is just now taking that. But I think that's a little late. If he had that running for, a while and could have got a bunch more Zerglings from that income and a couple more hatcheries, he'd be in a better position now.
That 12 o'clock Hydra finally being taken out, so maybe Medyas can expand to that location as well. A decent amount of Hydras coming down. They're going to snipe a dropship. I don't think there's anything in it, but that's a nice win.
In the top left too, pushing up the ramp, just dying to this lurker and sunken.
Yeah, so Medyas has been having really solid macro and some decent defense, although his reactions could be a little bit faster. But other than that, he's stabilized. The one thing I don't like is how his army's kind of spread out all over, and some of these attacks that he's managed to pull off have been really, really small. Like, you really want a concentrated Terran army to push into Zerg position, otherwise you're just giving them free units, and that top left attack is a prime example of that.
Definitely. We do have a small army here moving across the map towards that 12 o'clock place. So the Hydras are just sitting there. Gonna have a bit of an engage here. Maybe Medyas looking to try and take this position or take this base again. And I think if Medyas is allowed to hold on to that base, he's going to be in a really good spot. Although meanwhile, we also have a bunch of units flooding across the map to the bottom right from Zerg.
And there's no defenses here this min only. It's like 1 Marine and 6 medics. He really needs to get army down here. He has 100 supply worth of units, but it looks like they are all here trying to secure this 12 o'clock, not the one base he's actually mining from. I really would like to see him invest more here, or at least keep scouting information onto this high ground staging area. Actually sending his medics up here now, so at the very least they're going to sacrifice themselves for the scout.
The Congo line of medics here. He is going to be aware of this. I'd like to see him pull some army over there. He is rallying a few units now. I think AgGe just needs to go before he gets this position set up. And instead he's opting to go into the bottom right here to kill this floating command center.
Yeah, and killing this command center is definitely a nice win, but at the same time, Medyas has taken control of that 12 o'clock. He's building command center on location, and he has a decently sized army to defend. I really... Oh, he had 2 defensive matrix. Medyas knows that mineral only is a vulnerable position, but I think that was a little early. SCV is being transferred as well, so we are going to have sort of a weird map split situation here where it's kind of going to end up diagonal before even the corner base is taken for Terran, and it's going to be up to Medyas to defend these bases.
Yeah, we got a small little drop of 3 Hydras in the 12 o'clock base, just behind the mineral line. I think he was hoping to pick off that SCV, but it's like looks like it's gonna finish in time.
Yeah, and the army is right outside. They're gonna be able to deal with this no problem. The 3 Hydras are not scary, but they are gonna do some damage here. And I like these tactical plays. You know, AgGe has been keeping up the pressure from the start of the game. Just all these little things to pull Terran's attention around. And with that, he's also gonna bring in 3 queens.
Oh, what?
We have queens in the game, gentlemen. This is unprecedented in a B game, B team TVZ here. I don't know if he's planning to use Broodling. I don't see any parasites.
I would imagine he's just gonna Broodling a couple of tanks. Maybe he's gonna ensnare the army. I don't know.
Nice irradiator immediately onto that Muta, but unfortunately it looks like the Terran army is gonna fall here. There are still plenty of tanks to do quite a few shots before they totally go down. Wait, no, actually, there's enough medics here with only 2 Marines that they're able to survive. That actually took me aback. I was not expecting that at all, but all of the Mutas are going down. Yeah, wow. I was expecting all the Marines to go and then the Mutas to clean up the tanks, but 2 Marines and 6 medics can kill infinite Mutas.
Yes, so Medyas still holds on to this mineral only for now, and that's key. I mean, he needs to hold on to these bases. If he can hold these bases and not die, he'll be able to mass up an army and run over the Zerg.
Defensive matrix on a Marine as well, and so actually the Zergans are going to bypass that and go straight for the tank, and they are going to get it with the splash damage from the back tank here. But, you know, all of these attacks, Medyas has been defending adequately. He's taken damage, but the game is in a situation where it is a 2-base Terran economy versus a 1 soon-to-be 2-base Zerg, and 2 dropships are going to fly over that location, but they're going to go straight for the main and try to take out tech.
Okay, seeing that base there, he's just going to drop here and take out this base instead of going for the main.
Yep, changing modes here, and I think that's a great idea. He understands the situation and he understands the base count. There's not a lot of bases on this map, so we have a mineral only here, and we have a single gas base out for Zerg, which is the same situation as Terran. I think as a Terran player, you can be perfectly happy with that.
AgGe does pick off one of the dropships and then the other one before it can get the full unload. So he does defend that pretty nicely without taking too much damage. It's a good win for him.
Yeah, but they already did their damage, I think, at that 6 o'clock position, taking out that base. You know, those units could have done more, but that is worth it at least. He's going to try to take out this bottom right position. There's barely any units here, just a couple smatterings of random Zerg. That's not going to be a challenge for that Terran army. And at that point, he can even expand to that location, which will give him a significant base advantage.
We do see AgGe moving these queens around now, maybe looking for a couple of tanks to Broodling and pick off.
Yeah, I love to see the queen play. I mean, if you can make it work, they are great value. They're actually a great unit. The problem is they're very expensive and they're very APM intensive. So, you know, as he's created these queens, he's gotten the upgrades for them. Those could all have been units. Maybe it would have actually won one of these earlier fights. And we can see now his money is starting to float. Even though his income isn't that high, just the added bonus of the controlling of these units, it's causing some attention issues. We have a lone command center floating down to the bottom right. There's a handful of units here, but they're not going to clear this out immediately, so it's going to delay the landing of that command center just a tad. And what is the play from AgGe coming out? You know, he doesn't have a ton.
I think it's Guardians. He's morphing a Greater Spire in his main right now, and he's got a couple of Mutalisks just sitting behind the 12 o'clock base here at Medyas. I expect, you know, he'll be making some Guardians, try and pick up the stuff there. Try and deny that base, but
the queens are floating over some M&M, and actually a Radiate being used. Two of the queens go down.
No.
A full energy. Third one's very low. I think the Guardian switch is an option here. Guardians are an incredibly powerful unit, and certainly to attack this position, some Guardians over here and some Lurkers defending them was good. But we have a massive drop here on the bottom. That's going to take out that Greater Spire before anything can be done with it.
He does have the 4 Guardians being morphed just outside of the range of that Science Vessel. But he's not going to be able to make any more if he gets this Queen's Nest and Greater Spire. The Greater Spire is going to live.
Yeah, so I really need to stem this drop and target that Greater Spire. The Queen's Nest, even though you did see some Queens this game, that Queen's Nest is not the biggest deal. A Greater Spire takes precedence for sure, or the spawning pool. A stem would have taken either of those out, so that's kind of a missed opportunity there. But once again, an undefended base, and AgGe's finding it.
He's attacking here at the third. A lot of the minerals, there's not a ton of minerals left here to be had, but it looks like this base is probably going down. Yes. He is trying to save it here with a small group of M&M, but he will lose the command center. Meanwhile, the Guardians are done. They haven't been moved over to start attacking yet, but losing this base is pretty nice for the Berserk player.
Absolutely. There was a lot of SCVs there, so at the very least they have to run down to the bottom right, and that's a harder position to defend. A lot of Zergling trying to come up this ramp. There's only a tank and a couple of Marines in location. He needs to get more forces here immediately, but this constant pressure in multiple locations is proving to be tough to deal with. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like the stream of units is breaking through the natural. At the same time, we have Guardians and Lings at the 12 o'clock, and suddenly Medyas has almost no mining bases.
Once again, running out of mining. He doesn't have a big bank this time. These Lings and Guardians going to town, just killing all the SCVs here. And Medyas is going to call it there.
There's the GG finally breaking through the wall that is Medyas. That was an incredible game. As you say, very distinct style out for AgGe. That is not your typical standard ZVT, but he's making it work. Medyas weathered the storm as much as he could, but just that one final attack finally broke it, and that ties the series up 1-1.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. Like, I was expecting a good game from both of these players, you know, knowing their records, knowing how they're both strong B-teamers, but that was crazy. That was next level.